If you've watched the AgilePoint platform overview, you may notice small overlap with the content in this video. Alright, for this video, we're going to focus on the application design capabilities of AgilePoint NX7. From my portal homepage here, I'm going to navigate to my portal menu and click on Build Apps. From within the application designer, I can build a wide variety of different types of apps based on my business requirements. I can automate processes of any complexity, from something that is focused among your department or team, to a process that spans the entirety of your organization. I can also easily build data-driven or form-based applications, orchestration between systems, or processes that do not have a human component, as well as mobile and SaaS applications. Now when I log in here, you'll see that under My Applications, I have a list of apps that I have built on a custom basis, as well as those that have been imported directly from the marketplace. And let's take a look at a few of the different types of applications. So the first that I'd like to bring up here is a data-driven app or a form-based application. And as you can see here, there are artifacts underneath. Let's take a look at shared resources here. And as you can see, this covers things like access tokens, essentially a location where data is stored, and the credentials to access that location. JavaScript, CSS, as well as images that are used across the application. Under App Model and Resources, I'm going to see my primary data sources. This could be an AgilePoint data entity, as well as an existing entity in some external system or database, things like SQL Server, Oracle, Salesforce, or SharePoint. If I've configured any document repositories here, they'll show up here. Any lookups, the forms, as well as the notifications that may come as a part of the application. I'm going to switch gears here and pull up a process-based application and just show some of the small differences here in the artifacts. The shared resources section is going to be very similar to what we showed just a moment ago. It's going to cover access tokens, CSS, JavaScript, things of that nature. But as you can see here, we have a different artifact type here under the Processes folder. Now my invoice processing application is a process-based application, and as such can have one or more process models associated. Now this application just has a single process model, but not uncommon for one of our customers' applications to have multiple child processes as a part of a larger application. Okay, so for the bulk of this video, I've shown how we can expand out this tree structure and edit or add new application components. It's not a necessary step, however, if I just click on the application name here and I go to the Edit Existing Files section, I get quick access to the application artifacts and can quickly edit them or add new components. And then just lastly here, to easily surface up some of the most common actions when editing an application, we have the quick links, which covers, again, as I mentioned, the most common actions, things like adding a document repository where our documents will be stored, things like Box, Dropbox, OneDrive, or SharePoint. I can add JavaScript and CSS to my forms, as well as add form lookups, as well as create access tokens, right, for access into on-premises or cloud-based data sources. Next, I'd like to show you how to build your first application. From the portal homepage, I'm going to select the portal level menu and click on Build Apps. Next, I'll select Add App. And I'm prompted with a choice here between a process-based application and a form-based application. Now there's a simple way to differentiate between the two, so ask yourself, are there any approvals as a part of this application? If so, select process-based application. If not, select form-based application. First thing I want to do is give it a name. I can select a default language. AgilePoint's been localized into 18 different languages. So English, French, Japanese, Chinese, German, Spanish, Catalan, Dutch, and Danish. And don't worry, if you select a primary language, you can always localize it into a second, third, or more languages with a simple toggle of a button on your form. For today, I'm going to select my default language, which is English, and I can also choose a theme. This is going to govern the icon that shows up for this application when I select it from the Work Center. I'll click Next. My next choice is my primary data source. And as you can see here, we have AgilePoint data entities, database sources, as well as Salesforce, with more opening up soon. For this demo, I'm going to show data entity. Okay, this application is going to be focused around customers, so I'm going to name my primary data source as such. I want to look through only AgilePoint custom data entities as opposed to the out-of-the-box. And I'm going to select my customers table. Under Fields, I can choose which columns in the database that I'd like to use as a part of this application, as well as any related entities. Now in this example, I only have one child table, but not uncommon for an average customer application to have 8 or more child tables. Now what's happening behind the scenes here is AgilePoint is creating a number of the application artifacts on my behalf. As you can see here, we have 2 new blank forms, new customers and update customers, as well as 3 views, all customers, recently created customers, as well as recently modified customers, with a lookup for each view. Once I click OK here, I'll be dropped into the Forms Designer and I can begin designing my data-driven application. Okay, so now that I've designed an application, let's get to know the toolbar and the set of standard actions that are available to me. First thing I want to do is select an application from the left-hand side of the screen, and in so doing, the toolbar lights up. Now I have standard options here that you might come to expect with such a platform. The ability to rename, edit, or delete the application. In addition, I can also manage versions. As you can see here, I have a series of versions as well as 2 milestones, and I can filter this based on the type of data that I'm looking for. If I want to create a new milestone here, I'd simply click this icon and can declare this milestone 3. In addition, I can check in and check out, revert back to a previous version of the application. I can use AgilePoint's built-in validation checker to check for errors. We just showed the milestone feature a moment ago. And in addition, we also have the ability to publish this application for use across the organization. In so doing, you'll see that I have the option to notify certain sets of users, perhaps application owners, as well as the ability to specify permissions for this particular app. So here's that notify functionality that we showed just a moment ago. I can also, with one click, import and export the app package, clone the app if I want to do some debugging, as well as specify the permissions required to edit the application, application owners, initiators, and those who can access the report view data. In closing, let's review what you've learned in this video. You now understand the AgilePoint IDE, as well as the toolbar and how it helps with application lifecycle management. You've learned how to validate your apps, deploy those applications, as well as configure application level permissions. This concludes the content for this video.